cherry bounce is definitely a lot of work and a lot of time waiting for it to mature, but your patience will absolutely be rewarded. Traverse City Cherry Bounce Manhattan. Not the tart cherry.
That's gonna make go good in my onion jam.
Cherry jam, and then we're also making cherry bounce. Oh, what is cherry bounce? Find out soon enough. All right, so we're in the Petoskey, Traverse City area of Michigan. Lake Michigan is behind me. It is a spectacular day today, and I am looking for cherries to make some cherry bounce. And if you've watched our channel before, you know that I love to infuse fruit and alcohol. So there are cherry stands all over the roadsides here, but since you live full-time in an RV, what better place to buy cherries than from what?
A cherry RV.
A cherry
seller.
RV. Let's go buy some
go
sweet cherries out of the cherry RV.
If you're full-time RV and you go to a lot of different places, here's the tip for you. Always have cash. We seem to never have cash. So we can't get any sweet cherries from the RV cherry purveyor
without cash.
Because we don't have cash. So we'll go get cash. We'll come back where we're staying not too far down the road. No big deal.
The ingredients for our cherry bounce are really pretty simple. First, we have about 2 pounds of fresh Michigan sweet cherries. Now I'm using sweet cherries instead of tart cherries because we want this to be more like a dessert liqueur. So we want it to be kind of more on the sweet side rather than the tart side. Next, we've got 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 2 cups of sugar, and then 2 bottles of brandy. Now you can use just about any liquor you want. You can use rum, you can use whiskey, which is primarily what people use. You can use vodka if you want as well. Again, because we want a dessert cordial, we're going with brandy. And don't use the expensive stuff, guys. Use the cheap stuff. I think this was like $12 a bottle. Because we're infusing it with sugar and cherries and lemon juice and lots of other flavors, you don't have to spend money on expensive liquor when you're making infusions. So we're gonna do cherry bounce with a twist. We are gonna put half of our cherries in the smoker. So what I'm going to do is take half of my cherries, that looks like about half, get them in a single layer onto a little foil pan here. I've got the smoker set to 225, and I'm not sure how long these are gonna take, somewhere between 30 minutes and an hour. What I'll do is we'll smoke them for 30 minutes, we'll go out and we'll have a little taste and see how smoky they are. That's also one of the reasons I'm not smoking the entire batch of cherries, is because we don't want the smoke to overtake all our other flavors. I've got my foil packet here, and the reason I'm doing foil and not putting my baking pan right in there is because I don't want to get the baking pan all smoked up, because we use this within the rig. So we're going to get that right in the center of our smoker. Close the door and let those go for 30 minutes. Let's have a look. Oh, they're smoking a little bit. Mm-hmm. Let's go in. Find just a little piece here. Ooh, they're hot. Ooh, they're getting smoky. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna let these go another 30 minutes. I think that'd be too much. So I'm gonna let them go like 10 or 15 minutes. Our next step is to get our cherries, our sugar, and our lemon in a saucepan and start to get them heated up so we can melt all that sugar before it goes into our infusion. So we're gonna let these go. I'm gonna go get the other cherries and sugar and get them in the saucepan and get them started. So I got this half of the cherries in with the sugar and the lemon juice, and I'm gonna put them on low heat. We're gonna let these get started, so when the cherries come off the smoker, they're gonna be smoking hot, literally. And we'll get them right into this pan, and the idea here will be just enough to melt the sugar. Then we'll let this cool down completely, which will take a little while, and then we'll get our infusion put together.
Are the cherries done?
Yes, they are.
Oh, look at those.
Look at that.
Oh.
Cherries hot off of the smoker.
Well, their partners over here are going to be happy they're back.
Yeah, the sugar's starting to melt. And we are simply going to go.
Oh, I can smell the smoke.
Yeah, you can smell the smoke.
Oh my goodness, that's going to be so delicious.
So.
Oh, no cherry left behind.
Yeah, no juice left behind. And the reason we did our foil pouch right into the trash. Okay, so let's mix this up. Oh, you can see the cherries that come out of the smoker are darker than the cherries that were not in the smoker.
Your sugar looks like it's really dissolved.
It's just about there. I still feel a little grittiness. Okay, we're gonna let that cook for just a couple more minutes, get all that grittiness out of there, make sure that sugar is completely dissolved. Then I'm gonna transfer that into another metal bowl and let it completely cool down. Next, you wanna grab your glass infusion canister. You have one of those, right? If you don't, you should have one of those. How long have we had this, Victoria? We've had this
years.
10 years, and every year, this is what we make our cranberry liqueur in. And this is the first time we're gonna make the cherry bounce into these. If you don't have one this big, that's okay, but I would highly recommend that you use a glass container that you can seal up. You can see this has a plastic ring around it, so it pretty much air seals, but use some sort of glass container. I've got my cherries. They're nice and cool. They taste pretty amazing. Now I am going to try and do this.
Here.
Oh yeah, then we got our 2 bottles of brandy. Now I'm going to try and do this.
Oh, I feel a splatter coming on. Get a spoon.
All right, I am going to try and do this without losing any of our cherry deliciousness here.
Or spraying yourself with cherry juice.
Or spraying me or the sidewall of the rig.
Nice.
Okay, that was relatively painless and we did not make a mess.
Woohoo.
We're going to get all of the goodness in the jar. Okay, next up is our cheap brandy. That, when all is said and done, will not taste cheap.
Don't call brandy cheap. She doesn't like that. Beautiful color.
Oh yeah, that is a beautiful color. And I'm just going to give this a gentle stir to get it all mixed up.
So how long before we can drink this?
This is the hardest part of the whole thing. We're going to seal it up, and we have to wait 3 months for this to be ready. And I have been warned by multiple people, including the guy that we bought the cherries from, that said patience is a virtue with cherry bounce. The longer you wait, the better it gets. Now, an interesting fact, one of the reasons that Michigan farmers call it cherry bounce is the cherries are kind of on the bottom right now, and what's going to happen as they infuse and they release all of their juices, the cherries are going to bounce or go from the bottom up to the top, and that's how you will know when your cherry bounce is done. I'm going to get this into our super secret infusion basement storage area that we have here in our rig. And what do you think, Victoria? We should probably check this after a month to see how it's doing.
Put it on the calendar so we don't forget.
Yep.
I don't think we may forget. Put it in the calendar.
So we're going to see you guys in a month, and we're going to see how this is doing. It's mid-September, and our cherry bounce has been down for 2 months now, and we're about to pop it open and see how the progress is going, see what it tastes like. So let's pop the lid on it here. Oh, right away I could get that smell of cherry. And turkey basters, they're not just for Thanksgiving anymore, they're also for testing your booze. So I'm just going to get a little sample here. And oh, look at that dark cherry color. Let's have a little smell. Oh, it smells really different from when we tried it after 1 month. Again, it's been down 2 months now. Oh. Victoria, I hope we don't have a fail here.
Oh, no, the bounce can't fail.
It tastes very medicine-y. Do you remember the cough syrup we had growing up as a kid? The cherry, like...
yeah, the cherry couldn't help that stuff.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
It's very medicinal right now. I hope this is going to get better.
I am confident and hopeful. I am hopefully confident.
Oh, it's very medicine-y right now. But I will say I can taste the flavors. I can taste the cherry. I can taste the brandy. But it's very medicinal. I hope.
It's all going to be okay. Don't worry. Just wait a month. So it'll be fine.
We're going to cork this back up, and it's going to go back into the basement for at least another month, and we're going to hope it's going to get better then.
Okay. Cherry Bounce, I believe in you.
I really hope our Cherry Bounce is done. It's now 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, and I would really like to make a cocktail with this to celebrate Thanksgiving this year. So we've got our trusty turkey baster back and our tester glass. Let's give it a taste. Oh, it definitely has a smoother smell to it. Oh, wow. Okay. If you remember back in September, we had a very medicinal or cough syrupy taste to our cherry bounce. And I'm proud to say in the 2 months that it's been sitting since that tasting, it's gone. This is going to make a great cocktail.
I knew it would do it. I was hopeful.
It's good. It's really good. We are ready to bottle. Victoria was kind enough to take one for the team and drink a few bottles, little half bottles of Côte de Rose's Rosé, which is, by the way, one of our favorite rosés. We found it in this great half bottle. The most amazing thing about these is they have resealable caps, so they make great bottles for our cherry bounce. So I'm going to go ahead and strain out the cherry pieces from our cherry bounce, do a double strain just so there's no residual film or anything in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and get this bottled up, and then we're going to make a cocktail. So for our first cocktail with the cherry bounce, I thought I would go with a cherry Manhattan. What do you think, Victoria? How does that sound?
Yummy.
Yummy. That sounds very yummy. So we're going to start with 2 ounces of your favorite bourbon. We happen to be using Elijah Craig that we bottled in Bardstown, Kentucky last year. And then we're going to go a half an ounce of our cherry bounce. Then in your favorite whiskey glass with your best fancy round ice cube, take a couple of dashes of Angostura Bitters, a couple of dashes of Peychauds Bitters, and I like the depth of flavor that this brings rather than just using the Angostura Bitters by themselves. Let's give our mixture a quick stir, and into our cocktail glass we go. Our cherries came from Traverse City, the cherry capital of the world. I have Traverse City whiskey infused cherries with a little bit of delicious sweet sauce to top off and finish our drink. And we're just going to go right in there and give it a little stir. All right, there you have it. Traverse City Cherry Bounce Manhattan. That is really good. So smooth, so delicious. The Traverse City whiskey cocktail cherries bring a delicious hint of sweetness to the drink. Wow, that is a delicious drink, and it is going to be the highlight of our Thanksgiving celebration this year. Well, thanks so much for watching. Cherry Bounce is definitely a lot of work and a lot of time waiting for it to mature, but your patience will absolutely be rewarded in a delicious liqueur that you can make cocktails with all year long. Our infusion container is now clean and ready for cranberry liqueur, which we put down every year around Thanksgiving when fresh cranberries are still available. I'll put a link to that video up here in the corner as well as in the description down below. Be sure and like this video, subscribe to our channel if you want to see more recipes just like this. Visit our website at gfexplorers.com. We have well over 200 or more recipes on that website in every category you can possibly imagine. And until next time, happy eating.